We chose New York City because it's a place that's known for having a really broad range, from the sewers to the tallest skyscrapers in the world. Manhattan is really broken up into a lot of very distinctive subsections, like Chinatown, Harlem, East Harlem, which is in many ways very different than itself. Of course, some of the ritzier neighborhoods, parts of Midtown, Wall Street, so you'll see a lot of people in their business suits, and Washington Heights, Inwood. So some of these coastal cities, they also have their own particular, not only geometry and types of building, but the characters that populate those places as well.
The storyline is based around Marcus, and Marcus being the lead character. He finds himself in the position where his friend and mentor, Terry Higgins, is killed.
Don't owe me nothing.
Marcus, I helped raise you, and this is not how I expect to be repaid.
And then the character played by Christopher Walken, who's called Gabriel Whiting, comes by and says, look, I've got some evidence.
We figured there's got to be a mole in the department. Detective Higgins was onto something. There's obviously a conspiracy, a player setup. I believe you can help me find out who's behind it.
So Marcus has to go ahead and take a look at these leads and try to figure out which of these crime organizations was involved potentially in the murder of Terry.
And that's the catch. You got to do this alone outside of your official duties.
You can play it so that you're a bad cop, where you're doing a lot of bad things, not arresting people. You're actually beating up people, you're killing people.
There are consequences for being bad. If you decide to be a bad cop, you're not going to be able to rank up through the police department. It makes it easier to complete the game, in my opinion, if you play as a good cop.
New York Police!
We're allowing you to have a basic set of moves, but we're also allowing you to learn different styles as you progress through the game.
Each fighting technique has its disadvantages and its advantages. For example, brawling are quick hits in succession, but the disadvantages, the damage points inflicted on your enemy, are not that heavy. But if you have like Wushu, which is a really powerful type of Kung Fu, those damage points are extremely powerful. However, the time to pull off those moves takes a little bit longer, meaning your enemy can get in a few punches and cause damage to you. You could have karate, which is kind of like the happy medium, where you can pull off the moves pretty quickly and you score some pretty good damage points. Thai boxing is a really cool one as well. The damage points are slightly higher than, let's say, karate. Taekwondo is another one that I prefer to use. You're pulling off the moves pretty quickly. The damage points are slightly higher than karate, but a little bit lower than, let's say, Thai boxing.
Some police issue weapons that you can use in the game. There's like the beanbag shotgun, and that'll knock someone out right away with one shot. There's also the taser, which is kind of cool because you see this like electrical effect on someone. Some of the melee weapons that we have in the game are like daggers, sais, katanas. There's also blunt melee weapons such as like a baseball bat or a sledgehammer or a bow. And each of them will have their own unique animations when you wield them. Another one of the powerful weapons in the game is the flamethrower, the rocket launcher, the rotary cannon. One of the easy ways to attack like our shooting missions, you can use precision aim, which you can target people's specific body parts. So if you want to take a guy out with one bullet, aim for his head. That'll take him down right away. I think one of the other most powerful weapons in the game is actually the environment itself.
I mean, nearly everything in our environments is destructible. We've also introduced the concept of environmental hazard. These objects allow the player to punish the enemy.
country.
If you destroy a chair, you can actually pick up the chair leg and hit people with it.
In True Crime New York, everything goes with a big bang.
The variety of vehicles that we have varied from things such as coupes, hot rods, feeder cars, to motorcycles, to buses. Pretty much anything you'd want to drive, we have in our game. One of our big goals for this game was to make the cars feel totally different, from driving a truck to driving a taxi to driving a little putt-putt coupe, and I think we really were successful in achieving that. One of the bad aspects of living in New York, as most people would probably know, is that driving is not the formal mode of operation. One quick way to get around is to hop into a subway, take a train to go from one point to the other, or hop in a taxi and tell him where to go.
Explore, have fun, it's the Big Apple, and really you can take a bite out of it.
They're gonna pay for this!
Palermo restaurant. To start off, as you walk in the door, the first thing you'll notice is it's a typical Italian restaurant. There's tables, there are booths, there's a bar on your left, and the first thing you'll encounter, of course, is a couple of henchmen who will attack you right at the outset. Also, you can grab people and push them into items, tables, booths, the bar, the back wall, and things will destroy and break open, and there are some hidden things in the level that you'll find. There's nice pieces of wood laying around on the floor, which are very handy. You can kick one of those up into your hand and use it actually as a weapon. And then you'll have to go into the kitchen.
I ain't going out like that.
There are things in the environment that you'll want to look around and take notice of and use them to your advantage. There's a stove on the left. There's pizza ovens on the back wall. You can throw a guy in the freezer and then he's gone for the rest of the level. And then after you work through all the henchmen, the main boss comes back in.
Hey, what the hell took you, Nancy? So motherfucker!
And work him into submission and get him to spill his guts and tell you where the trail takes off next. And if you're successful, then you can, you'll know exactly where to go next.
You basically start off with Lynn, who is one of the bad guys in the game, and he's discovered that you're a cop. At the beginning of this cutscene, he basically is escaping from you, and it's up to you to fight through his gang of goons through this souvenir factory to eventually get to him and interrogate him so you can get a clue. You start off in Lynn's office, and you'll basically be turning around and you're going to be walking down a series of catwalks. You'll see a vat of acid in the middle. You're going to climb down the ladder onto the main factory floor. And along the walls, you'll see light tables. Those are environmental hazards. At the very far end of the wall, you'll see a big mold press that are making the Statue of Liberties. You'll see a garage door. When you go through that garage door, you'll see right in front of you an office. In that office are guns. Once you walk out of that office to the right, you'll see another big room, and that's where the trucks are, where they actually take the statues to be delivered. To the left, you'll see a series of drums which contain chemicals, and you'll see shelves that are holding the statues. At the very far end to the right is where Lynn is hiding. Once you've shaken him down, he's going to give you a clue which will lead you to the next part of the mission.
The Mayan Museum mission is part of the major case that involves the Magdalena cartel. The Mayan Museum is kind of laid out a lot like a maze. It's supposed to be set up in a way that that you might actually find a lot of these relics if you were back in ancient Mayan times. You need to pick the best path and make sure that you use cover and you hide unless you want to get discovered and have to deal with a very overwhelming force of guards. Tricks that you'll want to employ when you're going through the Mayan Museum level is you definitely want to make use of cover. You want to wall hug so that you can get up to the edges of walls and be able to peer around to see if the guards are facing your direction or the other direction so that you can sneak up on them. You want to make use of the sacrificial altars if you so choose. Once you sneak all the way through the museum, you get to the elevator, which will take you down into the basement where the storage is and where all the shipments come in.
Kill him!
Once you get in there, you do have to shoot your way through a bunch of guards in order to get to the museum director. Once you get a hold of him, you've got to beat some information out of him and interrogate him to try and get information to keep you on the path to get to the next mission.
Now, I ain't got to tell you what they do with little bitches like you inside, do I?
Police! Get your ass on the floor! Now! The Magdalenas are over!
I could arrest you right now.
Marcus is a tough guy. I'm a gaming fanatic, and I really enjoyed playing the first one. And the opportunity to be a part of this one, which is bigger and better than the first one by leaps and bounds, it was a no-brainer for me.
You been looking after my boy, Dad? Seems my boy is no longer just a pawn.
Congratulations, son. Life's full of ironies.
Sort of games and films coming together is kind of a organic thing in a way.
I'll be seeing you.
Marcus, I'm trying to help you here. Crime's been on the rise all over the city. For me, I got very invested in the story, and for me, very invested in how Marcus is gonna turn out. Is he gonna be okay?
Relax, it's plainclothes duty. You get to keep your shield as long as you play nice.
Yes, ma'am.
It's the last time I'm saving your ass, so you'd better do exactly as they say, or you're on your own forever.
All right, man.
Remember, it's your responsibility. Comprende?
You got it, Vic.
The thing about gaming that I really like is that it keeps you wanting to do better.
Oh, for Christ's sakes, Terry, how hard is it to shoot a target?
I have a very common problem, it seems. Perhaps if you take care of my needs, I'll make it worth your while.
What I really like about this character is that the dialogue is very punchy, it's very witty.
Aren't you an eager beaver? I like that.
Hey, fast. Oh, yeah. Be quick. These dogs don't talk to me no more. Oh, True Crime is a good game. Go on your own. Zeke will help. Zeke knows this place.
Perhaps I should just go home, kick off my shoes, have a nice cup of cocoa. For the past 2 years, I've been working with the OCU trying to take down New York's top crime syndicates. But things always go wrong.
What kind of place is this, man? Look like something out of a movie or some shit.
Yo, this shit is crazy. That's how I mean by it's no limitations, man. Anything that you walk in, you could take a character and he could touch it or you can fuck him up with it. Get the fuck off.
New York's a melting pot of people. There's a lot of diverse people. You've got different ethnicities, creeds, colors, etc. We wanted to make sure that we kind of captured that in the storyline.
It really felt like a natural place to really build a story.
In True Crime New York City, we've got 4 major cases that Marcus has to solve in order to figure out who Terry, his mentor's killer, is. The Magdalena Cartel, which is the first major case that you take on.
The Magdalena Cartel is the city's prime coke syndicate. Even conservative estimates have these guys running 75% of the 5 boroughs' flow.
And basically in that one, you're trying to work your way up through the cartel to find the head of the organization in order to get this information out of them. It takes you through a lot of twists and turns, and there's some really cool gameplay in there.
Police, get your ass on the floor, now! The Magdalenas are over!
Magdalena!
Oh, the Mafia, La Cosa Nostra, organized crime, the mob. Whatever you call them, these guys owned New York City for years.
The Palermo mob is run by a new Don, this guy Vincent Tuzzi, who he's an educated guy, so he runs his operation much more business-like than other mob organizations might be run.
Who's your contact over at OCU?
The same people who were supposed to take care of you, asshole. Didn't I pay enough cash to make sure fucks like you stayed out of my business?
Who did you pay? Yo, freeze!
Another one of the major cases is the President's Club.
The President's Club. I always thought it sounded like a supermarket promotion, but Central Intelligence calls them the fastest rising outfit in town.
They're actually led by a guy who uses the alias Benjamin Franklin, who enjoys the irony of the fact that he runs the organization and Ben Franklin was never actually a president. Ben Franklin is actually a guy named Lionel Jones. He went to Japan, where he got involved with some people over there in the drug trade. Lionel Jones used the drug contacts that he had made in Japan and the money that he made to come back to the States and form Zen Empire Records.
Yo, Mr. Jones, we got an intruder up on the roof. In my garden, no one fucks with my Zen. I'll be back to handle you personally.
Ready to take on New York's most powerful Chinese gang? Oh, China, you know, you really should go one day. You haven't lived until you've eaten out in China. Just watch out for the crabs. Little joke, son.
The Tong has a new leader, Leland Shen.
What makes you think I'm in the souvenir trade, homie?
Yo, let's not fuck around, Leland, alright? Word on the street is you trying to get in the door up in Harlem.
Well, maybe so, but selling my merchandise takes a special kind of skill set.
Leland has gotten the Tong involved in the slave trade, pretty much done away with the honor and tradition that the Tong once had in pursuit of his faith.
Fuck you all, man! Freeze! Out of the way!
Marcus, with information from Agent Whiting, goes forward to try and track down the heads of these 4 organizations.
Everybody on the fucking... Red going wild, bitch, let's go. Yo, Money, you ain't shit, and I'm kicking foot in your ass right now. Yo, is there a doctor in the house besides me? Anybody got any chronic? Any Purple Haze, any side diesel? True Crime, New York City.
All right, we've got this really cool mode of the game, and what it is it's an Easter egg for players. When they finish the game, they unlock this mode of play, where they get to actually play as Redman.
Yo, my name is Redman. Yo, the name is Red. Now fuck your crew up. I'm playing Redman in the game True Crime. Word. It's about to get real ugly up in this bitch.
Basically, the gist of it is that Redman wakes up in Battery Park in southern Manhattan.
Yo, where the fuck am I?
And everyone in the city is hostile and out to get him. And he's got to get out of Manhattan and back to Jersey, where he's from.
Yo, I'm just trying to get back to Jersey, for real. Just back up, yo.
All the while having to fight all these people that are trying to kill him, avoid them, jump in cars, whatever he can do to make it out of Manhattan. When you're playing as Redman, he's a really humorous guy, so a lot of his VO has a humorous bent to it.
You know what? Gingivitis is the #1 cause of tooth decay with your smelly ass.
But he is also, in a lot of ways, like, you know, fuck Manhattan, I gotta get out of here, this is bullshit.
Yo, why all the fucked up shit gotta happen in the NY?
It's a cool prize for the player, I think, in that it's just total, complete mayhem. When you're playing in the Redman Gone Wild mode, one of the main things that you want to try and do is try and find weapons and health packs that are spread throughout the city so that you can defend yourself, basically.
Anybody got some meds for a brother? What the fuck is a meds?
Your whole goal is to survive, and when you start off, you don't have very much in the way of weapons or anything.
This is all I got is a cap gun? Fuck that. I might as well pee on these motherfuckers.
So, just exploring while also trying to fend off these attackers and finding weapons.
Ha! This is what the fuck I needed right here. Some big shit!
And most of the cars, they'll already be damaged.
Hey, what the fuck is this? A 1.0? I might as well walk to the bridge.
But there are a couple of Redman special cars that will be spread throughout the city.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. Fat Cat Whip. Big dog style.
If you can find those, they'll be faster and have a lot more health, and you'll be able to use them to greater advantage.
That's what I'm talking about. My shit transformed like Optimus up in this motherfucker.
One of the big payoffs for Redman, for finishing this Redman Gone Wild mode, is unlocking the outfit that Redman is wearing that you can use in the main game. When you're playing as Marcus Reed, you'll be able to wear the Redman outfit. The way that you unlock Redman in the normal game is by completing the entire game and 100%ing it. The other way to unlock Redman is through a cheat code. You pause the game, you go into the map screen, and in there you'll hold down both the left and right trigger buttons, and then at that time you'll press YAAXAX.
Fuck that, the bridge is over, bitches. Yo, you can hold it.
You don't have to be justified in any of your actions.
I seen the last True Crimes game. This Project True Crime, they broke the limit.
It's just kind of like a fun little alter reality.
Once you see Times Square, once you see how you can walk in any store, and once you see how you can catch the train and go uptown and get off in Harlem and see the streets, yo, motherfuckers gonna lose their mind, man.